So gold's not an asset? Nope, it doesn't pay you. Why wouldn't gold be an asset based on that definition? Help me, let's probe that out. Why is gold not an asset? Because gold has done really well. My gold is crushing it. I think I'm up 50% over the last 2 years. But an investment isn't the same as an asset. I want you to think about the difference between that for a minute. Okay? An investment, you can invest in land. And how do you make money from the land? If it goes up in value, right? Or mineral rights. Yep. I bought a house in Dallas that they excluded the oil underneath the house. And so they said the deal is on this house. So it's like, let's look at investment versus an asset based on the Toby Mathis definition, because it's not an asset unless it pays you. Because I'm really fascinated by this discussion. And so if you say gold, does gold or land, okay, can you invest in them? Yes. Does it pay you? No. In fact, with gold, you have an expense to owning gold. What's the expense of owning gold? Storage. Yeah. You have to pay to store it. Whether you put it in a safe deposit box, whether you put it in a safe at your house, there's still a cost to keeping, whether you keep it at a company. And you know, the way I've invested in gold the past few years is S Gold, the stock. They just mirrors the price of gold. And I like that I don't have to deal with the storage cost. So you're getting I've had the benefit of the growth in gold. But what's that? Yeah. But gold never pays you, right? In fact, imagine buying a rental property, okay, and boarding it up and just hoping that it goes up in value. I've done that before. I went to a tax sale in Indianapolis about 10 years ago. So the city had what was called a land bank. And every year you have properties that would come up at the tax sale, and then no one would pay the property tax. It was either such a piece of crap, but at that time actually real estate was so much lower 10, 15 years ago. So it would have $3,000 in property taxes, and no one wanted to give the city $3,000 for the property tax. The owner had abandoned the property, and so literally the city just got the property, and they put them all in this land bank. And then they said, all right, well, let's create a provision for people to get properties out of the land bank. So if you have a nonprofit with a real estate initiative, you can take properties out of the land bank for $500. Okay? And so they had a few caveats, but they never openly auctioned them. And long story short, they had so many properties. They had like 2,000 properties sitting in their land bank, and they were a blight on the city, and they were boarded up, and theft, and all the problems of. And so they said, let's do an auction. Let's do an open auction, and let anybody buy them. And so I bought like 27 properties at like $1,000 a door. Now some of them were not worth it. Some of them they just needed. I just redonated them to Habitat for Humanity, right? Everybody, real quick, say hi to. Stop. So everybody say hi to Becca. How many of you have had a conversation with Becca on the phone or Zoom? Okay, Becca's here. And Brittany. Everybody say hi to Brittany. Brittany runs our Casey operation. She's our partner there. She's here this weekend. And Travis. Everybody say hi to Travis.
Good morning, everyone.
Travis runs our Charlotte operation. And Nicole. Everybody say hi to Nicole. Okay. Team Anderson is here as well. So we got the whole power team is here this weekend. You guys are going to meet all the partners, all the legal, all the tax, all the insurance, all the retirement. The whole team is here. So that's one of the big benefits you'll have of the weekend. And so some of those homes, I knew they were in like war zones. We call those C neighborhoods. They were in low income, low home war zones, but a couple of them had some interesting reasons why I thought they might change. So I literally boarded them up, planned to mow the lawn once every 6 weeks in the summer, and just enough to not let the city mow the lawn, right? But just basically hack it down. And so I basically held them like gold or like land, right? And so it is a strategy. It's an investment, right? But think about saying, I want all of my investments to pay me. It's an interesting thought process, right? It's something that as an investor, each of you should be mapping out, because there's absolutely something to be said for buying a $1,000 house that could turn into a $75,000 house once that new tech revitalization district happens, okay? There's something to be said of buying gold in uncertain financial times, which we have right now, with the end game of having it go up in value. It's, you know,